Greetings, family. I come to you in peace, love, solidarity, and respect. Welcome to A.G.M Perspective, where we discuss real issues in real time. Now, before we begin, let's pay respect and tribute to the champions of our people who preceded us. Richard Allen, Fannie Lou Hamer, Medgar Evers, Ida B. Wells, Denmark Vesey, Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, Bobby Seale, Nat Turner, Steve Biko, and Winnie Mandela. We give thanks for your sacrifices that brought us this far. Now, people, I'd like to give a special thank you for those who support me with the likes and the subscription. If you like this content, please feel free to subscribe and like the video. Now, let's jump into this.
As anti-racism protests have turned violent across the United States, hundreds of members of a black militia group marched in the U.S. city of Louisville, demanding answers for the death of an African-American woman. 26-year-old Breonna Taylor was killed amid gunfire when police officers burst into her home in Louisville on March 13th this year. The police had entered her home with an arrest warrant. Neither the person they were looking for nor any drugs were found in her apartment. No charges have been filed against the three officers involved in the raid so far.
We gonna give them 4. So why y'all can't tell us the truth about what happened to Breonna Taylor?
Now, a lot of people had a lot to say about NFAC. A lot of people was praying that they didn't succeed. But the opposite happened. One thing that was instrumental is that NFAC brought global coverage and attention to the Breonna Taylor issue. Could other leaders have done that? Did they have the power to do it? I don't think so.
Because the truth is, you see, y'all tried to sing and they ignored you. Y'all tried to chant and they ignored you. Shit, y'all even told and they ignored you. But when it got to the world stage, people with guns heard about it. And then we came knocking. And guess what? They ain't allowed us at all.
Meanwhile, several arrests were made in Seattle, where protests turned violent. Demonstrators were seen throwing rocks, bottles, and fireworks at the police officers.
Now, even though the world stage couldn't ignore NFAC, they try to mix everything together, put a little Black Lives Matter and try to merge it together as if Black Lives Matter was part of NFAC or part of the march. No, man. Wrong. In fact, Black Lives Matter, two separate entities that don't click, they don't mesh. Black Lives Matter is supporting alternate lifestyle, LGBTQ, and all those other things that's not pro-life.
Federal troops have been told to deploy across the city, and this comes amid anti-racism protests that have been taking place across the country. In Portland, additional charges included arson and trespassing. Now,
All over the world, our people are catching hell. All black communities, our people are catching hell. Don't fall into the trap of disassociation. Oh, those people over there, they ain't got nothing to do with us. We're all united because of this, because of the color of our skin. We're all black people. The enemy, the colonizers, the slave masters divided us and conquered us, played some against the other. Field Negro, house Negro, light skin, dark skin, brown eyes, blue eyes. They played on our differences, exploited it and used it against us, and still continue to today. Crip, blood, GDs, P Stone. As long as we allow titles to separate us, we will always be defeated. Now, the question to you is, would you be able to recognize the Black Messiah if he came within our midst today? Some would say, who would you consider a Black Messiah? Many of you wouldn't have a clue. Now, not to get spooky, all a Black Messiah is one who comes to galvanize the people, to liberate them out of the pains and the struggles that they're enduring. Now, we have a lot of leaders on the set today. A lot of leaders that have been there for years and years and years and years, marching, praying, protesting. A lot of people don't see the need for people like Grandmaster J and NFAC. Where the white supremacist danger is present, they'd rather focus on impact as the enemy. NFAC is not the enemy. Some people have voiced concerns that NFAC is going to stir up reprisals from white supremacists against innocent people. Well, I say to them, they've been killing us out. The same way the Klan used to go to the plantation and single people out to get hanged, dragged by horses, ripped apart, or whatever, is the same things that's happening today. So now I ask you a question. If a black Messiah was to come within our midst, would you be able to recognize him or her? Many have came and we've turned our backs on them. Why? Because a lot of us don't want to come out of our comfort zone. A lot of people is comfortable. There's an old adage about the frog in the pot. They put a frog in a pot in some water and turn up the temperature. Slowly, slowly, slowly. By the time the frog realized what was taking place, he was cooked. Now, I gave you that analogy because a lot of people don't like to rock the boat. They feel that if they bid their time, change is going to come. And they stay there, afraid to say something, afraid to do everything, just afraid, paralyzed by fear, hoping that the threat will just pass and not stop at their door. In Louisville, I saw organization. Irregardless of how the media try to portray the mishap that happened, which was just, and I don't want to trivialize it, somebody who passed out from the heat and discharged their shotgun. The pellets ricocheted off the ground and struck 3 people. Pellets. People who regained their strength and joined the formation. Now, somebody brought to my attention that they had wristbands. Man, how they gonna issue out wristbands and this and that? The wristbands were issued out after those who participated or would participate in the formation was cleared, meaning they had to sign a waiver to absolve all liability so that whatever action they took, whatever mishap that happened, was of their own accord. In fact, it's cleared. legally, which was a well thought out strategy. In these days of lawsuits and liability, I would say that was a good move. Not only did the participants have to sign a waiver, they also had to have their weapons checked and approved. So you see, this is no fly-by-night operation here. We're talking about people who could organize, and not just any people, we're talking about black people who could galvanize, organize, and bring attention to issues that plague the black community. Now, this brother just didn't go to Louisville to address Breonna Taylor. The brother addressed other issues concerning people in Louisville that the media didn't show. Louisville residents came out in support of NFAC. Can you recognize a black Messiah when you see? Strength recognize strength. Strength only concede to strength. You see it every day in the community. Whoever has the strongest crew has the strongest voice. There's strength in numbers. When you see somebody on the front line, I'm not talking about sending troops and staying home and being in the back and other people is putting their lives on the line. I'm talking about a leader who's leading the troops. He's there with boots on the ground. That's what I'm talking about. Can you recognize a black Messiah when you see him? We're not dealing with spookism. We're dealing with reality. We're dealing with what we can see every day. We're dealing with people who step up when others are afraid to. You know how many people that be in my chat be hoping and praying that this man fail? Why? I don't know. Black people at that. Oh, this man is an agent. This man is this. He's a fake. He's a fraud. This man is a publicity hound. You don't put yourself in a line of danger for publicity. There's a whole lot of other ways to get it. He can stay right there on the channel and say what he needs to say and get publicity. This brother is marching. Black people are marching in formation to places where black people be getting gunned down. So anything could happen. That's not somebody who's seeking publicity, man. And if they're seeking publicity, they'd be like a lot of these other cats that just be in the neighborhood. Oh yeah, I'm here, and this and that. We're in the projects, this and that. It might be 2 in the morning or 4 in the morning and nobody out there, this and that, but they showing the picture of the street and they out there and this and that, and that's publicity. This brother had 3,500 people in the formation. Now, keep in mind, before I forget, a lot of brothers that's disenfranchised, ex-felons, brothers with records that couldn't carry weapons was out there in support also. There's strength in numbers, man. Your voice could be heard louder through your actions and the numbers that come with you. It's the same thing in politics. If you can organize a body of people that can guarantee these politicians a certain amount of votes, they'll listen to you. Because your votes in that block will sway the election either way. Now that's power. That's how you obtain power. I often talk about going through the system. Now, going through the system, moving through the system, I met a lot of interesting people. People who held power in the street. One such person has made me aware of that power and how to obtain it. You see, we have the power, and the power is in our numbers and in our unity. That's why our adversaries' main focus is to disrupt and keep us divided, to keep us distracted. I remember when rap first came out, and they had so many rappers that was conscious, man. It was every time you heard music, there was a message. And the message was always positive. And it motivated people. A lot of people could identify with what was being said. Nowadays, what you hear, negativity, the disrespect of black people, the disrespect of the black woman, the perversion of the black woman. Is this by accident? No. The powers that be are unified in keeping us separated, divided. How can you recognize the Black Messiah? The brother Grandmaster Jay is trying to galvanize the people. Now, the brother could have took credit for the whole formation and the success of the formation. But no, what did he do? He gave credit to all those who participated, all those different organizations who participated in the formation. Now, a lot of these brothers have been organized for years. But in one day, in one formation, they were able to make history. They became part of history making. How can you recognize a Black Messiah? Two marches successful does not a Messiah make. People have to grow into certain titles. Nobody sets out from birth to become your environment shapes and molds you. The struggles of the people, the cries, the pain, the frustration, all these things touch certain people in certain ways, whereas it brings out the greatness in them. Most leaders who become great men are not willing leaders. They didn't set out to become this. But the calling of the people and the ancestors who came before touched those individuals to the point whereas they couldn't refuse the calling. When you're touched by the people and the ancestors, you cannot refuse. It becomes an energy that flows through you and consumes you to the point whereas you do not fear death. A warrior can never allow fear to control them. Each battle, you're confronted with death. Therefore, each battle you become less and less afraid, because you and death become constant companions. Now, any warrior is going to be able to understand that. Some of the people might not. Can you recognize a black Messiah in our midst? Now, I saw a lot of things get accomplished. I saw this man on the world stage bringing people together, our people. There are reports that people who are uncertain of their blackness or had their blackness in question was given solace, meaning they had a court where people who wanted to become part of Impact bought documentation to validate their blackness, to show that there was no question that regardless of how light they were black first. How about that? How about that? There's nothing like belonging to something that you feel is greater than yourself. Many are called, but few are chosen. This man did not bring anything negative that wasn't here before he came. This man is bringing solutions to problems that plagued us for many, many centuries, years. Rally behind this man. Let history teach us that through COINTELPRO and all the different ops to separate the people from the Messiah, before they assassinate his character, then assassinate the man. Let us stand behind this man. If he's willing to give his life for us, then we must be prepared to do the same. We're not preaching racism. We're advocating justice, human rights, equal rights. Nobody like to be party to a traffic stop and have to worry about a policeman with an itchy finger. You go for your license and this man want to take your life. Then you out there worried about rocking the boat. Oh man, this man making too many waves. He gonna make it bad for us. It's already bad for us. It's been bad for us. I was thinking about, I was looking at a wildlife show, and this anaconda had this baboon in its grasp. Now, while this is taking place, you got about maybe 20 or 30 baboons looking on. Now, common sense would say, okay, we got the numbers. Man, we're going to team up on this joker and get our comrade loose. Then we're going to punish it, right? These baboons stood there watching as their comrade was being suffocated. And then consumed. That was profound. It was profound. It reminded me of when that brother had that police's knee in his neck. And nobody intervened. They had their cameras watching. But nobody came or gathered galvanize together to give that brother, to make the police feel uncomfortable to the point whereas they have to release the brother and give him ease. Now I know everybody's not brave. Everybody's not a warrior. But you have to put yourself in that brother's place at that time. How would you feel if your own kind was watching you as the life was draining out of you and nobody helped you? The next time you see any of our people in need of help, remember that. We have to stop thinking individually and start thinking as a collective. Which is why I advocate legal gun ownership, with self-defense classes, so that you know how to use your weapon, how to clean your weapon, how to store your weapon, and how to carry your weapon. It's your constitutional right. There's strength in numbers. Join an organization. That way, if you have a problem, it's the organization's problem also. Everybody will come, you have support, backing. No man is an island. You have a brother in our midst right now. How can you recognize a black Messiah? Give this brother a chance. You done tried everything else. Like he said, you done prayed, you done protested, you done marched. And the problems are still here and you're still facing them. The stronger we become, and the more we unify, is the more we'll be respected. There has to be checks and balances. You got these racist militias. Somebody has to check the bullies. If they know that they do something, they know that there's people out there capable to check them, check their movement. There'll be consequences behind their actions. Every cause have an effect and a reaction. They have to know that. have to see that. They have to acknowledge it. That's why NFAC is here. That's why the Grand Master is here. Support this man. Stand behind this man and his organization. Join the organization. Give this man a chance. Whenever I speak to you people, I speak with love and concern. I mean no disrespect. We are one family, and this is what binds us together. The melanin in our skin. We have the same roots, the same foundation, the same origins. All for one, and one for all. What happened to Black people anywhere in this world is supposed to be our concern. We're all we got. If we don't look out for our own interests, nobody will. Everybody's busy looking after their own people. Yes, Black Lives Matter. Our Black lives. It's not to say that we don't respect nobody else and their rights to exist. Everybody has their own concerns. We have to concern ourselves with our survival and our future. We have to make this world a better place for those who will come behind us. We can't just think about ourselves. Like our forefathers who came before us, they sacrificed for those who will come after. This is the same way we must think today. We have grandchildren, nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters who are coming up. We have to ensure that the world that they come up in will be a better one than what we're experiencing today. Now, I don't know about you, but you have to stand for something. A person that stands for nothing will never have nothing. A person that stands for nothing will fall for everything. I love you, peoples. I love you, family. One love, unity, and solidarity. Let's organize, stay lawful, and progressive. Let's get rid of the distractions that separate us. Let's get rid of the hate for our own people. And let's get back to loving each other. Let's get back to Black love. peace, black power.